Hey folks, how we doing today? I have got another story about what is going on in Grand Forks, North Dakota. I have a listener who lives in the vicinity, and he tends to send me to links and direct me to what's going on over there in his neck of the woods, and I do appreciate that. There's a lot of stories out there that are going on locally that most of the mainstream media doesn't pick up and cover that are so important to the future of this country. This is just another one here. I've done about three videos now in the past involving what happened in North Fork, involving the Chinese buying land there, the city council taking the money, taking the bribe, and actually helping the land grab happen. This happened a little more than a year ago. Well, the city council had such a ruckus happen when the town folk found out that the people threw such a wall-eyed fit that it got the attention of congressmen and senators and even the Air Force, because this base, uh, this North Fork Air Force base, was right beside where this Chinese company Fufeng wanted to buy this property and possibly set up surveillance. They said it was for a corn mill, but at any rate, the Chinese do own the property. But here recently, I've done another video about this. The uh, the Air Force decided that it was a security risk to allow these folks to do any building on that piece of property. So the Chinese still own the property, but they're not allowed to do any kind of construction on the property whatsoever. Kind of kills the deal, null and void. So the corrupt, alleged corrupt board, including this guy sitting right here, the people in the town still want to know: do these folks get tax breaks? These Chinese landowners. Does the city council still take bribes in order to try to push deals like this through? Why was the city council not concerned about the citizens' um, feelings about this whole situation? Why did the city council turn their backs on the citizens there that were 100% against it? And they would have pushed the deal through with the one exception that the government got involved and the Air Force actually got involved and actually stopped it. But this is a follow up video. This video has been out about 5 or 6 days, and it's just some more of the town folk there. Just wanting to know, ask the mayor here and the city council, why? How can you allow this? What can we do to prevent this from ever happening again? And what can we do to get you folks fired for trying to do this to our town? Check it out, folks. I thought this was a great video. It's actually a couple hours long, but I'll just play you some of the better excerpts of this thing. So let's go ahead and check it out together.
20 years. Are our citizens 25% better off? Have salaries gone up? Are houses more affordable? No. But we do have more traffic, more closed businesses, and more empty stores. Mayor Bashinsky, you're on the EDC Board of Directors, but you also have great influence on city operations, and you run the city council meetings where EDC projects are discussed and voted on. This is a huge conflict of interest. We elected you to work for the citizens of Grand Forks, not the Economic Development Corporation. And I suggest if you wish to continue as mayor, you must resign from the board of directors of the EDC. Or if you wish to continue on that board, resign as mayor. You can't do both. It's just wrong. Unfortunately, the corrupt relationship between city government and the EDC involves more than just the mayor. For example, our city growth fund includes 5 members. 2 are from the EDC. Yet the growth fund committee makes many decisions directly related to EDC activities. So having those EDC members on the committee is simply inappropriate. And if the EDC people are going to be on those committees, why not representatives of other special interest groups? Why not the Farm Bureau, Global Friends, Grand Forks County Citizens Coalition, the Audubon Society, any of the many other special interests in town that believe they want to have a better city and are working to that end? As I prepared my comments earlier today, I tried to figure out the relationship between the city and the Economic Development Corporation. I couldn't do it. I went to the Grand Forks Economic Development website, and it's very hard to interpret, figure out what it says. There is no clear line of division between city operations and EDC operations, and it appears that the two entities share resources and personnel, and that the city subsidizes EDC operations. And it seems to me that the intimacy between the EDC and the city government explains many of the economic failures we've had in recent years. It's just not the Fufang fiasco. And the Grand Forks Growth Fund has a history of spending money on businesses that fail. For example, in 2021, the fund loaned $269,000 to a cryptocurrency corporation, a corporation that was never going to produce any valuable product, and a corporation that is now bankrupt. I have no doubt that the EDC will continue to lobby for business development in Grand Forks, and they should. They must, however, be completely separate from city government, because you guys, mayor and city council, have to be able to judge their proposals and be objective about it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Perkins.
I'm just
Appreciate
about done. Just two more comments if you will let me do it. Last year, a city council member recused herself from Fufang matters because she worked for an engineering firm that might have benefited from the Fufang project going forward. And recently, the publisher of our local paper resigned from the EDC board of directors, citing a possible conflict of interest. The actions of Jeannie Mock and Corey Wenzel are very admirable, but the apparent corruption here in city government far, far outshines what's going on at AE2S and the Grand Forks Herald. So my question is, what are you guys going to do about it? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins.
How many of you had any sort of plan to deal with the Grand Forks Air Force Base and the trust issue tonight? Anyone? I'm deeply disappointed in the governance. I'd like to talk to you about it at the end of the meeting. With that in mind, please take my comments seriously.
Thank you, Mr. Berclair.
Good evening. Get to the point first, something that just came when I got here. Kind of a bad night for me because the honor flight gentlemen were here, the veterans that we've thrown under the bus. We come and we say the Pledge of Allegiance and a flag, and when I come and say the Pledge of Allegiance of a flag in this room, I get a knot in my stomach because of what happened prior to this, a year and 3 months ago, that this city council brought to our town. Not a shining example. If this is what's a shining example of creating this stuff to bring in a Chinese Communist Party business and then supporting them all the way along and putting, not only supporting them, but putting on the backs of the taxpayers of this community, I don't know why you guys are still here. I really question that. Every day I wake up and I say, what gives them the gall to do what they've done to this city? This black mark, not this shining example. Because you're what you call a good example of a bad example. That's where we come from.
Yeah.
Please address the council.
I'm addressing everybody here. Don't tell me what to do like you always think you can. You're the mayor. You're not the guy that tells me what to do. Let's clear the air. Okay? I know you don't like me. I don't like you. Now let's move on. This is about the pond.
Thank you, Mr.
Gossett,
Spicer.
that's your question, I'm sure.
Mr.
Is
Gossett, if you'd like to
there a
respond,
lawsuit
please.
coming from Fufang? Have you even spoken to him?
Mr. Spicer, could you give him a second to respond, please? Thank you.
Sure.
Mr. Gossett, if you'd like to respond to that, please.
I have not spoken to Fufang.
You have not spoken to him?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Spicer.
No, I'm not done.
Your time is finished, Mr. Spicer. Please
I'm
sit
not
down.
done.
Mr. Spicer, you've been asked. Please sit down. Your time is completed.
Did you know that the city was going to buy land back from Fufang when you voted to approve the development agreement?
Good question.
Yes or no?
Thank you, Mr. Spicer.
Yes or no? I'll let you know when I'm done. I'm sick of you ordering me around. This is
Mr.
my right.
Spicer.
This is my First Amendment right. You guys dreamed this 5 minutes up on your own. It's a crock.
Mr. Spicer,
It's time to answer
when
some
you're-
questions.
when you're in this
We've been
chambers,
wrangled
you
around
will
long
follow
enough,
the
Mr.
rules.
Mayor.
Mr. Spicer, when you're in this chamber, you will follow the rules that we have set forth. Please sit
Get
down.
in.
You're a disgrace to this
You
city.
can say as you wish. Please sit down, sir.
You do not represent this city. We voted you in, and we will vote you out.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Spicer.
Same old story. You wonder why it looks like there's collusion?
Dennis Cadleck.
Bochinsky. Have you seen the latest show on No Apologies? You know, that's a perfect example on how you operate. 180 degrees apart on two different interviews. You know, you're not ever going to come out with the truth. Because once you start lying, you can't stop. And that's how it works. You've tried to deceive us, but you've deceived yourself. You've deceived yourself in believing you're going to walk away with this unscathed. That is not going to happen. Because you have been investigated, and you're still being investigated. You know, we threw you a bone a month ago to help yourselves out, but you refused to. Because you're obstinate, and you will not listen. And you know, I told Mr. Gostin months ago that he's a smart man, he can figure it out, but evidently I was wrong about that too, because he hasn't figured it out. And I don't think he's ever gonna. And as far as what's going on with you guys, you can't figure it out. You wanna follow the rules? Do you remember the page I handed to Rebecca here a month ago? I emailed it to you. It come from Matt, Street Department, December 9th, about a sidewalk that hasn't been cleaned. And Sherry, it's still not cleaned. Follow the rules? Why does not the city of Grand Forks follow the rules? Why does not Mayor Polchinski follow the rules? Why does not Dan Gosted follow the rules? You know, this web you guys have created, they got your pictures up on the wall and the lines running back and forth in between the EDC and all these other places. It's just amazing. I mean, there's so much conflict and interest here, it's just oozing out. I mean, Gosted works on both sides of the fence. He works for the city and he works for Fufang. You know, why'd you get rid of Howard Swanson? Because Howard Swanson would not do what Dan Gosted's willing to do. And this guy, he should have been gone a long time ago. If you're going to do your job, Mr. Mayor, do your job, please. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. But I'll tell you what, if you're going to be a leader, you need to get rid of that council, because that council has really gotten you in deep. You need to get rid of this director, because he's even dug you deeper. You need to get rid of these other people that cannot do the menial job of setting a clock or even getting a sidewalk cleaned. I first complained on that sidewalk December 9th. Could you give me a good reason why it is not cleaned to this day? Anybody? December 9th. I complained about a sidewalk that is not clean. Call the police station, they'll tell you. You call and you complain to the city. The rules are, you report it to the city, and the city makes sure it gets cleaned. If the owner don't clean it, then somebody's hired to clean it, and the city bills them double for it. That hasn't been done. Why not? December 9th, Mr. Mayor. And you expect us to believe you? Come on. You know, you haven't told the truth since the day I got here, and I told you that very day that I didn't believe you were going to be honest and up above board. And the guy hiding behind the screen there was the first guy to jump up and say that I could not be satisfied. But yes, I could be satisfied. Some people need to be fired and some people need to resign. And you know, Brandon, if you want to show yourself as an example at all, you'll either resign or you'll start firing the people you got to get rid of here. And you'll start running a city like a city should be run. For the people, not for yourself. Yeah. And these pilot programs, duh. Do you really think they haven't figured those out already?
This wouldn't have ever stopped. This deal would have kept going through. It was up to the Crooked City Council, but truth be known, the people of the city of North Fork actually fought this. They fought it tooth and nail, made it go viral on the internet. over several of these videos where these citizens are just standing up, voicing their concerns, and I was just glad to see that citizen action groups, including just the people of this town, made all the difference by getting a hold of the politicians that they needed to in order to bring this to the Air Force's attention. They actually got this deal crack canned, and I'm just glad to see it. We need more stuff like this to happen in America. It needs to happen at the school board meetings, expose all these crazy teachers and these drag queen shows. We need to expose all this corruption coming out from the Democrat Party and happening on the local level as well by allowing things like the Chinese to buy up land right up from under our noses. Like, subscribe, and share to Vote of Patriots. I hope everybody enjoyed. Over and out.